responding to criticism. So someone's given you a statement of criticism. They've come at you. And hopefully they've done it in a really constructive way, but obviously not everyone knows how to give constructive feedback. So they may have done it in a good way or they may not have. Either way, a way to respond to that is to ask for more information if it's not clear. Like, so somebody might be like, hey, we're really ticked off that you didn't make it to the meeting. And you might be like, I did make it to the meeting, or what's going on? Like, I didn't know that we had a meeting. I didn't realize that I'd missed something. Like, it might not be clear to you why they're upset or what's actually going on. You may have totally missed something and be like, I'm not sure why people are mad. So ask for examples for clarification. You might say, are you talking about such and such? You might guess at the details. You can paraphrase that back to them. Okay, I understand that you guys are upset with me because of something that I did last week. Is there any way I can address that now and make that up to you all? So what do they want? Why are they giving you this feedback? One time I got a really critical note from a coworker who didn't appreciate the way that I'd spoken in a meeting. And I understood that she didn't appreciate it, but I was kind of like, I'm not really sure why you're telling me this. Like, do you want me to behave differently in the future? This is sort of a one-off situation, like whatever. So I just asked. So I was like, are you talking about the comments that I made about such and such in our meeting? I apologize that was upsetting to you. Is this something that you'd like me to focus on in the future? Because the situation was unique, and I was like, I don't usually say these kinds of things, or this isn't a topic that's brought up very frequently. So I was like, what do you want? So just ask, like, what would you like to see me do in the future? Some other approaches, you can agree with the criticism. You can say, you're right, I did do this thing. You can agree with the perception of it. So you could say, I can understand why you would think that. I would like to provide you with a little more context to understanding that. You can also find some common ground. I too don't appreciate when people are late with their work. And I understand that that's not a professional way to handle things. So you want to avoid excuses. So that's really tough because I think that's people's initial go-to is like, but let me explain, And instead of trying to explain, it's often better to just acknowledge it. And if you can improve your behavior in the future, do. In my situation that I was talking about with a coworker, it was such a unique situation. It's not usually comments that I bring up in a meeting. So, I didn't want to be like, yeah, I don't normally say this, and this is why I was in this mood or whatever. I was just like, I understand that I can see how my comments may have come off in a way that I didn't mean them to, and I'll be more mindful of that in the future. Is that something that would make us resolve this situation or whatever? You want to work for a cooperative solution, because if you don't want to be the person that's causing other people discomfort, you don't want to be the person that's making it in a hostile work environment. So how can you work to fix this genuinely? And sometimes I will say too, like, sometimes you need to take a step back. If somebody emails you some criticism like I got, I didn't respond back right away. I took several hours and talked it through with a couple of trusted people before I wrote my response, because my initial response was frustration and anger. And you don't want to write an email out of frustration and anger, because I just needed a little bit of time to process and then think, okay, I don't want to burn a bridge with this person. So I would rather work for a cooperative solution. I want to make sure that I'm saying this in such a way that they feel supported as well, that they know that I appreciate the feedback, even if I kind of didn't. But, like that I'm a team player, and I can put my ego aside and that sort of thing. Be sincere. So again, don't come off as like, oh, gee, thanks for that. I really appreciate the feedback. Because your tone of voice, the way that you write things, people know if you're not being sincere. So if you need to take a step back to reframe and get some perspective on it so that you can sincerely respond to it, I would recommend doing that. Some inappropriate responses. Well, it's not my fault. Well, I didn't know when the due date was. Sorry. Like, that doesn't cut it. Like, and I know people are like, well, I said sorry. Okay, but that's not enough for a professional response. So just keep that in mind. Some more appropriate responses. So in that example, someone not submitting that on time. I understand. I was behind on that project, so they're agreeing with it. I should have communicated that to the group. I'll remember that for next time, but I aim to not be late again. My apologies for putting the groups out. So apologize sincerely, and let them know what your future behavior is going to be like. I mean, you can just say, yeah, you're right, I was late and I screwed up on that, and you don't have to offer a reason or an excuse for why you were. We understand that people are busy, but we also understand that deadlines are firm. So you miss it, own up to it. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. I'll do my absolute best to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's really all people want to hear anyway. Some other things. So constructive criticism. Our customers expect a timely fix and friendly service. I see here that a customer noted that you arrived more than 2 hours late without calling. You seemed really gruff and in a bad mood. Next time you get behind or overwhelmed, try calling the front desk and asking if they can communicate with the customer. That might make you feel less stressed out. Okay, so someone's told this to you. So your response, an appropriate response would be, I can understand why the customer thought I was unfriendly. I was very overwhelmed and frustrated from my last call. I'll work on communicating with customers and checking my mood at the door. Thanks for that feedback. It's an area I want to work on. All right. And obviously, I know that sounds a little canned, but you can find a way to say that in your own words, in your own language, in the way that you would actually have a conversation with people. So just aim for that to be the heart of the response. I hope that's really helpful, and I look forward to hearing your comments and feedback on that as well.